So, I would like to welcome you back to my channel. And I would like to first start by thanking the viewers. And if you enjoy watching this channel, feel free to subscribe to get updates when I start streaming. And in today's stream, we will be essentially starting by rebuilding a vehicle we will locate on the stream, followed by salvaging of parts for later part approval, and finishing up by taking orders for the shop. So with that being said, let's start off by checking out the junkyard, see what kind of vehicles they might have there. Probably be better off with the auction house, but honestly I like to check the junkyard first. What I'm looking for right now, besides the vehicle, is a map for a barn location. As every time you enter the junkyard, there is at least one map laying around somewhere. Oh, look at this. We found a Hammerdell Strail in the junkyard. That is what I'm saying. Oh, gonna pay it marginally less than we would on the auction house. I mean, normally the auction house is about 50,000. Looks like we're gonna pay about 1,443 credits for the buying commission, an estimated car value of 26,508 credits, the buy price of 30,303 credits. So we'll go ahead and purchase that. And we'll move that to the garage. Sorry about that brief intermission. At this time, let's go ahead and move this over to the car wash here. See about getting that all washed up so we can get started working on it at the car wash. And we will vacuum it. Wonder what the toilet paper's for. Maybe for the dash. Kind of a inexpensive version of Armor All. Oh, do. So I'm just going to start off by removing some body parts. Just want to make sure we got them all. We'll start by removing the tires as usual. those removed. So let's start removing the mechanical parts. Nope, forgot the gearbox. That's what happens when oh goodness sleep. All right, looking good, like factory. One thing we want to do though, before we get started repairing parts, take that out so we could repair that and clear the engine bay by taking this out. This should be cleared already. Perfect. This can only take one kind of engine, so let's get started on resurfacing those brake discs while we tear apart the engine. Looks like all the caps are removed, so that's handy. And we got the engine block off, so let's go ahead and remove that brake disc from the left. We'll put on the next one and start by repairing the mechanical parts. Move over to the body parts after that. Let me go ahead and change that out real quick. We're going to try and put off performance parts in this build. So today I was having some difficulty attaching a .png file to an email I was attempting to send out in my web browser. It was one of those browser email services such as Proton Mail, which is a very good mail client. It's an encrypted mail client. So if you've been having difficulty with people hacking into your email service, I would recommend Gmail or Proton Mail, both of which are pretty secure. But if you do go with Gmail, make sure you get the secondary authentication service. And a good rule of thumb is to always log out of any website you log into within your browser when you're done. Otherwise, any kind of hacker or malicious actors, we'll call them, could just as easily hijack that, what they would refer to as session, and log into your email as you. Well, fun bits of knowledge. Can't put it back on until I put it back in. Right? Engine block B8. I'll move over here and move that out. But, yeah, I did also want to mention, and this is only my personal view in regards to home security, but a great method I feel to keep your home secure, especially if you suspect somebody's been getting in, is a security door. As the locks on a security door are a lot like a cap on a car's fuel tank, is actually capped. It has a little door to it, which makes it more difficult to get into. And security system is also good, but you also want to make sure to get the right one, because I know some home security systems actually don't have security for the door, like certain doors maybe, and some don't even offer a security option for the windows. So somebody really wanted to get in, there's that option. There's also the problem with those code, where you type in the codes, but I can't mention that live. That's more of a, one-on-one conversation. I could say all this because I am no longer a white hat or a black hat hacker. I never really was, to be honest with you. There was only one website about 10 years ago I was able to form a, what was it? SSH connection with, and I was still unable to pass commands, so really never was technically. I'm more of a tinkerer and somebody that repairs a lot. Like, if you need a space heater repaired and you have access to spare parts, that's something I could do. Or a fan repaired, a computer repaired. A gaming remote that's giving you problems. What else have I repaired? Water dispenser on a fridge. Repaired that once. You know those blades on those $20 fans you can get at Walmart nationwide? They're all the same. Are really easy to replace. If they get dusty too, you can just open it right up and just dust them off. Both sides come off really easily, making it able to dust off pretty simply. I don't know why I just put all that in the warehouse when I'm coming over here to take everything out. I'm special sometimes. Yeah, let me see something here. Not a little bit less. I just want to lower my volume in my headset here to a more manageable level. So I don't want to hear as loud as this game is, essentially. Let me increase this here. There you go. You guys should be able to hear me better. And a better level for the game. And with that, what else do I have to think about? Wish I'd have more viewers while I'm doing the video. It'd be great. Someone to talk to. But I don't really stream during prime hours. I understand prime hours are pretty much any time after 4 p.m. And those would be the best hours to go to if you want to get followers. But given my living situation, it kind of makes that difficult. That and with my neighbors, I like to get to bed pretty early. They're, yeah, they're them, unfortunately. But this, yeah, I like to eat food, I do. I enjoy going to eat food, and as of recently, I've gotten word that people, and this is new to me because I've never been a bad guy, bad person, or any of that. But, I've been framed as much for being a bad guy, even though I'm incapable of it. If you knew me as, you knew me at all in the past, you would know that. But I heard word that people were putting like items on the shelf in like a grocery store that didn't come from there or may have originally come from there and was, purchased from there, but then later manipulated, like they put some stuff in it and put it back on the shelf. And after hearing that, I kind of started to be more coherent as to certain people that may have been in the store at the same time I was, like when I go there. And what I've noticed is that sometimes when I'm shopping, I'll be grabbing something off the shelf and then there's just somebody like right next to me, like paying close attention to what I'm purchasing. So on one occasion, I actually spoke to them and they seemed to run away real fast. Kind of, I mean, not in a literal sense, but they did walk away expediently, as criminals tend to get when you call them out on their shit. At least that's in my experience, which I have quite a bit of experience in that. But there was that, and then, I mean, there's been multiple occasions where I've noticed people paying extra attention to stuff I was purchasing. So that's why I said that to that other person. And I was just trying to have a normal conversation with her. I didn't even accuse her of doing anything, or even get to the point of having a conversation in regards to that at all. But before she walked expediently away. But yeah, it's happened to me at multiple grocery stores, namely Hy-Vee down the street. And when it happened there, I mentioned something, and the manager that was present stated, "Oh, that doesn't happen." And I'm like, "Yeah, right, okay." And the next thing I know, I don't know how much of this is true, how much of it's not true, as, rumors spread, and who's to tell what's true until it's vetted. But, yeah, I heard that shortly after that he had gotten fired because he had prior knowledge to this occurring, and he did nothing about it. So I guess they let him go. But, yeah, it was that, and some conversations I've heard from employees of that store in the past while I was purchasing certain items, as well as employees of a Fairway, I believe the name of it. It's a discount food store off of Saddle Creek. It's a fair distance from my home, but yeah, I heard some weird conversations in regards to that. While purchasing food items. And, you mention something or you say something and you get nothing back. That seems to be the go-to. And then another time, when I was in Florida, I was stopping in at a BK, and they told me I was on a timer. It was the bad part of Jacksonville. It was a BK. They had a car shop not too far from it. I can't really remember all that was there, but I knew I shouldn't have gone to that one. It was in the hood, you might say, and I went there because I was hungry. It was the morning time. I needed coffee to be able to drive where I was going to go, because the beach is about an hour out from the area I was in. But, yeah, so they told me I was on some kind of timer or on a clock or something like that, and when I inquired as to what that meant, because like I've stated earlier, I'm not a bad guy, nor ever have been. I don't know what their, criminal verbiage is, but when I inquired to what that meant, she looked all scared or something, and yeah, she got fear in her eyes, which I've seen in many men's eyes before, so I've grown to recognize it. It's generally the sensation I get when I see it in men's eyes is sadness. It's never been the image that I wanted to project, but it does happen from time to time. But anyways, I saw it in her eyes, which was pretty much an indication that something shady was going on. So yeah, kind of swayed away from that there. They always make it pretty easy to detect, I find, with criminals. Even when they're actually trying and putting forth an effort, it's still easy. And that's probably because of the people I grew up near or with. You kind of get a feel on the energy. But yeah, those, really don't like those people. I mean, why are you gonna come after somebody without even having a conversation with them first? I mean, that's insane if you ask me. Because anybody who's ever even had a conversation with me knows I ain't gonna go out of my way to harm anybody. I mean, only time I would even think about that is if they were harming me or my family, like most other people are, like the average citizen, which is essentially what I am, unfortunately. But the younger crowd are really oversensitive, and they think words you say when you're angry are actual words. When, as you learn when you get older, like in your 20s, clearly, well, earlier for some of us, but clearly, sometimes those words could be exaggerated or not meant at all, just said an emotion, which humans do have the tendency to do. Sadly, we are controlled by emotion to a great deal more than we know in some instances. But yeah, found ways around the whole grocery debacle that have yet to been confirmed, but I have my theories, and those I'll keep to myself for one-on-one conversations in the future. I think by saying these things, it makes it so the wrong crowd will be less likely to talk to me, which is good. Who wants to talk to them anyway? And the right crowd really would still be indifferent as far as those statements go. So, and there are many excuses that could be made, I'm sure, for why they do what they do, but as criminals do, they're going to make excuses for what they do just to try and um, dispel any kind of responsibility for their actions, which quite honestly is a childish thing to do because in the long run, where are you with that? I mean, you make no progress in life. You're just still at that same situation where you refuse to accept responsibility for something you've done, and therefore it inhibits you from growing as a person and moving forward in life. So, while some choose to be bad as an excuse not to grow up, in my opinion, that is a choice they must make. Well, for some people maybe didn't have, the options other people had in life, or the opportunities other people had, or maybe they were forced into that kind of life for whatever reason. But, there are exceptions, excuse me. English is difficult after about 3 days of not sleeping very well. Uh, for like last night, I was woken up at like 4:30 in the morning, couldn't get back to sleep. The 2 nights prior to that, I was woken up at like, well, one of them it was like 12, and like every hour to 2 hours after, and the other one it was like 2:30ish, and every hour to 2 hours after. So that was nice. If by nice you're being sarcastic. Just to clarify my sarcasm. I'm just going to get some of the aftermarket parts for this one, as when you resell it afterwards, it theoretically would be more valuable to you than it would without them. Everything's theory until it's proven factual. And that's why in science you never move on anything to the next level until you can prove something is factual. Until you can prove it with actual proof and evidence, doesn't, you know, doesn't mean anything, therefore you can't move forward on it. It would be referred to as circumstantial at that point. Didn't notice this one was dual turbo. I'm just gonna step away for a second here, and I'll be right back with you guys momentarily. Oh, gotta go ahead and pick that up, and I'm back, as you can see. I hope that should help out if you guys are having any trouble hearing what I'm saying. Opa! Just something I heard on a podcast I was watching earlier today with the two guys from the Are You Garbage podcast. It's called Stabby's World. Alright, so should be good to go. Take that off the lift. We'll go ahead and grab this engine stand, or was it engine crane, and we'll move that back on there. Now that we got that in the engine bay, we could lift up the vehicle and start putting in those mechanical parts. Mm, well, that was a +4, okay. Two more of those for the front. Shouldn't need more double wishbone rears. I did, however, need more brake pads. We'll get about 20 of those. We use them often enough. these. Honestly, we might as well get 20 of these as well. And let's not forget the 20 bushings. Really running low on a lot of things, I guess. let's see. We got 20, 25, 325, 25, 325. $19.30, $2.45. Yes, we have to repair those rims, right? Okay. And 27A, 19 and 20. Let me see. We have some of those. Rim 27A. Do you have 27, but not 27As? We're gonna go to the rim A. We'll get two 19s and two 20s. Now we can go ahead and put them on the tires. All right, got all that in there. Let's go ahead and start filling up the engine bay. Figure we might as well get as many of these as we can, because even if we're painting a part, these wouldn't even come up. So really wouldn't have too much problem looking through inventory on those. That's the reason I only get about 10 of most things. It's because if you could paint it and you go to paint it, then all of those will show up and you have to scroll past them all, which is kind of a pain, unless you don't have them in your inventory. Like you'll see if you look at my newer uh, Pimp That Ride videos. Had a few parts for it available there. these ones will just get added to the list so we can go and purchase them. We'll need that, that. And let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, rear clamshell, door window. Also need a windshield. And the door. Should have quite a few Arizona plates in my inventory. What am I doing? But it seems as though I do not. So, I guess we'll buy new plates. Get about 50 of them. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and move this out front so we could look into the interior in order to disassemble it. Now we'll go ahead and add what we need. Go ahead and purchase those parts. Might as well save it. lift, and we'll get that fuel pump in there. And we can go ahead and take it over to the paint shop after getting a quick car wash. At the car wash. Let's go ahead and move it on over there. See what kind of default colors it comes with. Usually they're the best ones to choose from anyway. We'll go with burgundy. And get it tested on the dyno here. Alright, so we started out with 910 horsepower, 6,690 RPM, 786 foot-pounds of torque at 5,015 RPM, measured power at 1,849 horsepower, 6,720 RPM, and 1,576 foot-pounds of torque at 5,055 RPM. For a gain in horsepower of 939 horsepower, that's 104%, and 791 foot-pounds of torque. That would make it 101%, a drag rating of A999, which is the top rating you can get. And all across the board, I think that's the most we've increased any engine to, so that's pretty cool. We have never put a car out of the shop like this. So the body's at 100, frame's at 100, parts at 100, interior's at 100. And the parts value is 93,849 credits. Body value 105,981 credits. Performance parts value 93,054 credits. Condition bonus 133,597 credits. The buy price was 30,313 credits. Sell price is going to be 426,481 credits, making that a profit of 396,168 credits. Oh, let's go ahead and sell that real quick. That put us almost to 2.5 million. If we didn't spend so much money on parts, we would have definitely hit 2.5 at least. But that's alright, 2.4 is fine. And we'll go ahead and salvage some of these parts now. Now, if you tuned into my channel in the past, you're well aware of it. But if you haven't, Whenever we do this salvage parts part, what I like to do is just count to see how many parts in consecutive order I'll be able to get the bonus on. And from that, we'll see if I can make the record for that week. So currently the record is set at about 19 parts, I believe. So, well, actually 18. So let's go ahead and get to counting and see if I can beat that record. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Ah, well, made a new record. Made it to 19 so far. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 1. And now it's kind of pointless to count because I have too little parts to make any effort. Anyway, so we are up to 3,409 salvage parts, or salvage parts, or however we say that. So we'll go ahead and move over into here and start taking orders for the shop. Now we have about an hour and a half left, so we should be able to get in, I'm thinking about 8 orders at the most. But let's go ahead and get started and we'll see. Now, what I like to do here is just take in whatever vehicle is closest to ending on the timer, despite the condition of it or what we'll be repairing, and go from there. So, got this one in first, so we'll go ahead and start over here. We're going to fix the body part, starting up front left door window, and front right door. Left headlight, right headlight, trunk and windshield. front left window and the windshield. Put the windshield back on now. Go ahead and see what we could repair over here. Which is to say, none of the listed parts. So, let's go ahead and purchase those. We got the left door, the right door, and the trunk, as well as the headlights. Customer got a bonus there with those side mirrors. Was able to refurbish for them. Still looking rough, but it looks a lot better than it did. And with that, we have the body parts fixed at 1,950 credits. Tax bonus of 779 credits. Job bonus of 975 credits. Total payout of 3,704 credits. So we'll get that on out of here. And I thought this one was a rear engine, but I could not recall. So let's go ahead and check this one out. The Mayan, right? Yeah, Mayan T8, part of the DLC. So there's a knocking sound coming from the suspension, and we're going to repair and replace some body parts. So let's check out that suspension first. Got the outer tie rod here, and shock absorber cap over there. So let's go ahead and get it up on the lift. We could take care of those parts real quick. Not sure if we'll need to remove the tire to get to the shock absorber cap, but definitely do for the outer tie rod. Outer tie rod. Oh. And where am I? Yeah, where. So, outer tie rod removed and added. So we can put that tire back on. Let's just make sure. Yeah, that's the right one. It's kind of weird. I thought earlier when we were doing that rebuild that we already had attempted to separate the tires from the rims. But it seems we have a number of tires that are still attached to said rims in the inventory. Let me see, double wishbone shock front absorber. That is a double wishbone. We could use the same, well, honestly, we could use the same shock absorber. If I'm not mistaken, it was only the cap that was bad. Yeah. We could use the same spring and get that new cap. Let's go over here to separate these 27As. Oh, was that it? Yeah, I believe those were it. We'll attribute that to a hacker. Yeah. Nothing else to do with their life, I guess. Probably freelance. Don't need a job. Idle hands. Seems about right. I don't know how this could really be that entertaining, but apparently they're also a child. So. Personally, I would think with that kind of skill level and profit you margin you'd be making from it, I could think of a great deal of other things to do, like go out of state and go skydiving. Travel anywhere. Why stay in one place? But, to each their own. Some people don't want to make much of their life. No, no. Let's go ahead and get those repaired, and we will put those in the warehouse. Yeah, I suspect I know who's doing it. It's actually a friend of the child that lives across the street. Not sure if her mother is aware of it. Last time I attempted to speak with those people, they acted like they didn't speak English. Then later I heard their father speak clear English. So, you know, you can't speak with some people either. They're just terrorists because they're from Iran or something like that, and they come here causing problems like they're authentic terrorists. So it's not where they're from that's the problem. It's the way they're acting. I don't know. I think they probably got here on a visa. Hopefully, because then there would be promise they'd be leaving. Oh, we got a left headlight B, left side mirror, and rear window. Trunk and trunk window. Already removed the trunk window, so we got that. We'll, however, need to replace that trunk window with another one, so purchase that real quick and go ahead and repair these parts. Got the side mirror and the trunk we were able to repair. Rear window and a left headlight B. I guess that one was the aftermarket variant. Is that the right one, I wonder? We'll see in a moment. Ah, it's kind of a pain to get to. I thought they meant the truck window when they were saying rear window. Turns out they were talking about the miniature one in the back. But I guess the customer got a little extra bonus there. We're getting lucky today. So, that about finishes that order up. With that complete, that would be a knocking sound coming from suspension at 86 credits, repair or replace body parts at 6,050 credits, tags bonus of 923 credits, job bonus of 3,046 credits, and a total payout of 10,105 credits. I think that's an all-time high for that total payout. And now, that's the first two orders we were able to complete. So we can go ahead and move on to the third and fourth. Start with this one. So lower on time and move on to this one as well. We'll go ahead and move this on over to lift A. And we'll grab this other one and move it to lift B. And let's start with this one. Brake issues, I could say right off the bat. But, we got to replace some filters, air filter, fuel filter, and oil filter. We got about, looks like 6 brake issues, so that's probably the ABS module for sure. And then you got some disc and pads I'm sure need replacing. And we've got some body parts. And they wanted to increase the power of this vehicle by 15 to 20%, as well as refueling all of the fluids excluding the oil, which we'll refill anyway given we're already changing the oil filter. So I don't think it's right just to change the filter on them. Should always change the oil whenever you change the filter, I believe. We'll go ahead and replace this air filter real quick. Since it's, well, it's not really a performance vehicle, but we'll put in a aftermarket air filter anyway. Kind of give them a bonus there. Feeling generous. I mean, after all, the last two customers have had a bonus. Why shouldn't they? Let's go ahead and drain the coolant. And we'll drain the windshield wiper fluid. Followed by the brake fluid. And let's go ahead and remove that fuel filter. And we'll put in a new one, aftermarket. And replace this module with a new one as well. Should have about 2 more modules in there at least. Not more than 2. Apparently I had some reserves. Alright, so let's go ahead and lift it up here. We'll move this oil thing on over to lift A and get started on the draining. And remove that oil filter. Go ahead and put in a new one. caliber, the brake pad, and the brake disc, and add a new disc as well as a pad. Get that tire on there. And let's come on over here. Definitely gonna need a new brake disc and a brake pad. See how the flaking on the brake pad, and you can't see all the letters. Kind of indicates that. Calipers should be good though. Alright, got the brake pump fixed, the filters replaced. Now we just need the fluid and the body parts, as well as the increase to horsepower. Make sure that's drained. And we might as well, let's start by moving this. We're going to replace the intake manifold and the throttle for certain at 20% increase. And just get those replaced with their performance counterparts. Give me one moment here. That's resolving the issue that was causing some jitter in the graphics. But we'll replace that turbo as well. So let's see what that would add up to here. Intake is going to give us about 3%. Throttle will give us 2.5%. That makes it 5.5. Turbo give us 7. That would put us at 10.5. And that's not much. Let's go ahead and check out the exhaust. See how much we might be able to get by replacing that. 10.5, we're going to need quite a bit here, I believe. 15 to 20, so about, what's that, 4.5? Something like that. Rear muffler is only 1%, middle muffler 1.65, catalytic not enough. Let me try just putting those on and seeing. Well, no, not even with that air filter would it reach the bonus threshold. That's what gets me. See what I can make on that. Well, that sounds good enough. 2% should put us at 12.5, and Figure out 12.5. We could replace that fuel pump. That'll probably get us about 1.65 as well as the rest of the exhaust parts. And that should do it. I mean, I'm sure there is a way to add all that horsepower and make it cheaper. However, in this case, it really doesn't matter, given it's an order from a customer. They're going to be paying us back for the parts anyway. And it looks cool, so. Alright, so we got that exhaust replaced along with the fuel pump. Go ahead and bring the vehicle back up and put in the rest of the parts, and we can start on the body, which the hood is a must. After we get the fluids back in there, of course, that including the oil. Oh, we got that throttle. Got that air intake manifold, the turbo. Let's go ahead and refill these. The turb. Whoa. Let me check something here. Trying to figure out why my GPU is running way over the percentage it should be. It's crazy. Sorry about this. Should not be seeing any of it, but that beyond unacceptable. I'm not gonna have it overheating on me. Probably gotta clean it up, I'm sure. It's already hard and I like that temperature. Oof. Well, I guess you guys got a bonus. You can see what to do to help out your GPU graphics. Mine seems to primarily be associated with the frames per second for whatever reason. is not very helpful. Hmm. So that is looking like it's not quite enough, or it's too much as far as the horsepower increase goes. Let me see what happens if I remove that. Okay, let's try removing that along with it. Yeah, so it looks like it's not enough. Nine, I kind of get it. I'm gonna remove this turbo at the turbo 13. Turbo 13, Prado 13. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we got the turbo, the air intake, and the throttle that we're going to go ahead and tune. See if we can get it up to enough of an increase to get it to the 15% mark. All right. Mm, still not enough. So with that being the case, since it's still not enough, I'm going to go ahead and get that gearbox removed. Hopefully the starter's at the bottom. Yep. I'm going to get that gearbox removed and see about replacing the clutch assembly. I like to replace the parts that the customer will really feel the difference in. Okay, well, that's still not enough. Let's go ahead and remove this. See how much that would add. I honestly don't think it's worth it. But at 2.5, it's hard to pass up. Yeah, that's definitely enough. I'm telling you that. Let's try putting the rest of the parts back on here and see if that goes through. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna worry about it. I mean, if it's not gonna come up as enough, even though it's clearly over 15%, we'll go back and do the arithmetic, but I'm pretty certain it's enough. So we got 2.5 on each one of those cams. That brings us to 5%. The clutch assembly, we'll just guess on a low bid would be 2%. Um, the exhaust is probably going to be around 2% as well. That'd be 9%. The fuel pump is 1.65. So 10.65. And then you got the turbo, which was 3.9. That brings us over 15. And then you got the intake manifold, which is 3.9, and the throttle. That's it. It's going over 20. It's not that we don't have enough, it's that we have too much. Okay, so we removed the intake manifold as well as the throttle, and it's still not coming up as completed. So at this point, it's kind of up in the air. We could try removing the fuel pump. Yeah, still coming up as too much. If we remove that turbo, it's going to be too little. But we'll remove it anyway. More to demonstrate the problem than anything. Yeah, turbo resolved the issue, so there was way too much. I don't know how we got over 15% without replacing anything significant. I mean, just the exhaust, the clutch assembly, and looks like the fuel filter as well as the air filter. Well, the fuel filter wouldn't have been very much. I mean, that's 0.78. Added up together, the exhaust is never going to be over 3. That's 6.78. And the air filter is probably about 3, 5 at an astronomical amount, which doesn't add up to 15. But yeah, so oh yeah, with the camshafts, that would be 5. So that, yeah, that sounds about right. Well, we've resolved that one. Front left door, front left fender, and front right fender. Let's go and get started. Left body window A, rear right door, and right headlight. We'll go ahead and get that headlight added. And the body window A. See if we could repair everything else. Yeah, the hood's a bonus. I don't believe we needed the side mirror repaired. But the doors do need to be repaired, that is. So we'll repair those. Gotta purchase that one. Well, it's the side mirror. Right tail light. All right. And we could, yep, that might help. All right, so we got that finished. I do apologize. I did forget to go through the expenses list. But, we can go ahead and get started on this one now. Inspect and replace the filters. Running choppy, cars loud, body parts, and added horsepower. So we could start by replacing this throttle. Since we're adding horsepower, do we have a turbo? We do not. Adding about 13. We'll replace that intake as well. And look into that. And we could replace this fuel filter. That's 3%. That's 3%. That'll bring us up to 6. And we're also going to want to replace that throttle. And we'll drain that oil since we're replacing the filter anyway. So we got 3.8, we got 3.25. That's going to bring us to 3.8, 3.25, about 7. 0.78 will be 7.78. Can't recall what the air filter was at, but I'm guessing like around 2%, so that'd be like 9. Not gonna give it too much. Believe that should give us about 3. Nope, 1. Way off on that one. There you go. Fuel rail will give us about 3. We'll go ahead and replace that. And replace the body parts. So since there are so many, I'm just going to go around and see what I believe will resolve it. Remove those and get those replaced. Right side mirror, right tail light. And the right side mirror. What else was there? Right door window. Is that the front window? Front right door window. Alright, so we'll get that removed. And get that added here. Go ahead and repair these parts, and we should be good to go. Alright, so we did complete that, and with that we have the inspect and replace filters at 242. The engine is working, but it's choppy at 634. Car is loud at 200. Repair damaged body panels at 1,720 credits, and other tax at 2,115. Tax bonus at 1,703. And the job bonus 2,185. Total payout of 8,799. So we'll go ahead and finish that order right after we get some oil in the vehicle. There we go. And got about 11 minutes left, so let's go ahead and bring in another order here. So we need a brake system needs fixing, loud exhaust, transmission not responsive, driver struggling to find gears, general gearbox control and repair, and we gotta change out the fluids. Excuse me, indigestion. It's killing me. And increase the tuning of the vehicle by 15 to 20%. So let's start by draining the fluids real quick. Got those drained, and we got that ABS pump replaced. We'll move to fixing the brake issues now. Now, that pad may need replaced. Let's go ahead and check over here first, though, where we know for a fact the pad and the caliper need replaced. Place that pad. Replace the caliper, and we can get that tire back on. And we'll move over here. Caliper and pad look good, as well as the rotor on that one. So we'll replace the caliper at minimum on this one. And that does resolve the brake issues, so let's get this tire back on. And we're definitely going to need to replace that gearbox. And before we could do that, we do have to replace the starter, which will require us to lift up the vehicle. So let's just replace some of these exhaust parts first, and then we'll go ahead and get over to that. Just looks like that one exhaust part. And might as well remove the tires as well as the independent drive axles. And then the drive shaft, so we'll be able to take that gearbox off promptly after removing the starter. These inverted engines are really a pain when it comes to doing transmission work, because you gotta take so many parts off just to get to it. Alright, and it looks like the entire clutch assembly is also going to need to be replaced. Except for the clutch plate, which looks fine. Must have recently been replaced on that, I guess. It's kind of weird, I've never seen that before. Weird. It is awful weird, sir. Go ahead and remove that for replacement. Don't really need a custom one either. Alright, so now we can get the front drive shaft as well as the drive axles reinstalled along with the tires. And we'll go ahead and bring that down, put in that starter. And let's see about tuning on here. What do we got? 15 to 20%. So we could start by replacing the turbo. It's a 14B. And the manifold. Sure to bring a good increase in horsepower. The throttle. And that. Probably just need to replace the turbo and that manifold on that other end, as well as the throttle will probably be enough, but let's check it out. Turbo will add 7%. Exhaust manifold will add 4, that's 10%. Throttle's 2.75, that's 12.75. And intake manifold is 3, so that should be enough. There we go. Forgot the manifold there. And that should complete this job. So the brake system needs fixing. Is at 1,140 credits. Loud exhaust is at 83 credits. Transmission not responsive is at 650 credits. Driver struggling to find gears be about 535 credits. General gearbox control and repair is at 123 credits. Other tasks is at 2,750 credits for a task bonus of 2,891 credits. Job bonus of 2,459 credits for a total payout of 10,631 credits. So, another pretty good job. And with that, I will have to say goodbye as I do have to end my stream now. So, by saying that, I would like to thank you for joining me for today's stream. You can always join me again every Friday between the hours of 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. and on Twitch every Monday and Tuesday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. If you did enjoy watching this content, please feel free to like, and if you would like to see more of this content, please feel free to subscribe to be updated on all new video releases for my channel. And as always, thanks for watching.